The story of how a small nation, spanning just 400 years, rose to become a superpower sounds like something out of a movie. Let's take a journey through the timeline.
The era of Native Americans. Long before Columbus arrived in 1492, millions of indigenous people, comprising over 500 tribes such as the Cherokee, Sioux, Navajo, and Iroquois, inhabited this land. They engaged in hunting and agriculture, and built vast cities. In the year 1200, the city of Cahokia was home to 40,000 people, making it larger than London.
Colonial era. 1607-1775, 1607. The British established the first permanent colony at Jamestown, Virginia. Initially, conditions were dire, starvation was rampant, and 80% of the population perished during a single winter. 1620. The Pilgrims arrived at Plymouth aboard the Mayflower. This marked the origin of Thanksgiving. The 13 colonies. Over time, 13 British colonies were established along the East Coast. Trade in tea, tobacco, and cotton flourished. However, a major issue arose with the commencement of the slave trade from Africa in 1619. War of Independence. 1775 to 1783. Britain kept raising taxes, yet the colonists had no representation in Parliament. The slogan, "No taxation without representation," emerged. 1773. Boston Tea Party. Tea was dumped into the sea in protest against the tax on tea. July 4, 1776. Thomas Jefferson drafted the Declaration of Independence. Under the leadership of George Washington, they fought for 8 years and defeated Britain. (1-800-1860-1803) Louisiana Purchase. America doubled its size by purchasing territory from France for $15 million. The concept of manifest destiny emerged, the belief that God had entrusted Americans with the mission to expand from the Atlantic to the Pacific. This era saw the seizure of native lands, the construction of railways, the rise of cowboys, the gold rush, and the phenomenon of the Wild West. 1848, gold was discovered in California, prompting a massive influx of 300,000 people. The North opposed factories and slavery, while the South favored cotton cultivation and slavery. 1860, Abraham Lincoln became president. 11 Southern states seceded to form the Confederacy. A bloody 4-year war ensued. 620,000 people lost their lives, the highest death toll in American history. 1865, slavery was abolished, but Lincoln was shot dead at a theater. (1870 to 1945). In the 50 years following the Civil War, America transitioned from an agrarian to an industrial economy. Figures like Rockefeller, oil, Carnegie, steel, and Ford, automobiles became billionaires. 1914 to 1918, America joined World War I towards the end and emerged victorious. 1929. The Great Depression, the stock market crash left 25% of the population unemployed. 1941. Following Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor, Franklin D. Roosevelt entered World War II. The war ended in 1945 after atomic bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. America emerged as a superpower. The Cold War and Civil Rights, 1947 to 1991. A 45-year Cold War with the Soviet Union, no direct warfare, but intense competition in areas like Korea, Vietnam, and the space race. 1969. Apollo 11 humans set foot on the moon for the first time. One small step for man. 1960s, the civil rights movement led by Martin Luther King Jr. The "I Have a Dream" speech. Legislation was passed granting voting rights and equal rights to Black Americans. 1991, the Soviet Union collapsed. America emerged as the sole superpower. Contemporary America, 2001–present. 2001, 9/11, attacks on the Twin Towers. Followed by the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. 2008, Barack Obama becomes the first Black president. 2020, COVID-19. Black Lives Matter movement. The U.S. Constitution is the oldest written constitution in the world still in effect, dating back to 1787. Alaska was purchased from Russia in 1867 for a mere $7.2 million. At the time, people called it "Seward's folly," an act of foolishness. Today, the oil alone is worth trillions of dollars. The 50 stars represent the 50 states, while the 13 red and white stripes signify the original 13 colonies. American history is essentially the story of immigrants. It begins with the words, "We the people." People from all over the world came together to build this nation.